for a second. This is my second podcast. I got Curtis Biggers. Everybody else know him by maybe Lockdown. He's done a significant amount of time. We come up in juvenile detention centers together. We been through the whole shebang together. You know, went through the adult system and ultimately wind up being free together. I think it's a wonderful conversation we can have, man. This guy's bright, he's positive, and he's looking to help like I am, man. Man, nice to be here. Let me get up and embrace this, bro.
Hey, nice to meet you, and I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you.
My love, my bro. My love, my bro. Yes, sir. How you doing, man?
Peaceful. How about yourself?
Man, working, man.
How's your podcast coming along?
It's gonna get better. I feel like this is gonna be a spike for it, man. You know, everybody love and respect you, man. You paid your dues, man.
It's the same way with you, though. I told you that. I said, bro,
Appreciate you.
your lane, if you get into that podcast lane, you're going to be successful at it. You a solid cat, always have been. And I've been knowing you since we was kids.
Thank you, brother.
You know, like that ain't something that you develop over the course of time. It was there then.
Yes,
If anything, I think you sharpened it. I think all that you went through, it just made it sharper.
Man, it forced it to be sharper.
For sure, though.
It was a force sharpener.
For sure.
But I make no complaints at all about it, man. I tell you, man, everything that I went through, everything that I continue to go through now, and what I will endure in the future, man, it's all lessons in it. There's equivalent gain and failure if you get the lesson from it. Pain brings lessons. My brother knows these things. Man, how's your family?
You know, my mom, she passed away 16 months after I came home. Yeah, 30 days before I served out, I found out she had been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
30 days before you served out to come home?
Yeah, and she was given 30 days to live. So
That's what you came out to?
You understand? So like being, you know, how when you do a stretch and then you on your way out the door, you looking forward. You know, it's about to get bright again. After you just weathered all those storms and went through all of that, you look forward to the release so you can, you know, it's about to, but when I got that news, it kind of like let me know that, nah, man, you just came out of one storm, but you about to go into another one.
Yeah. I always tell a lot of brothers, man, that one of the biggest mistakes they can make coming out of prison is coming out and exhaling, as if they're no longer underwater.
True story.
No, you're not. You can't breathe yet. Like, you still gotta hold your breath. You got trials and tribulations that you're gonna have to overcome out here. You're gonna have to find employment. You're gonna have to readjust in ways that you never thought you'd be able to, because it's tough inside of that. Post-traumatic stress disorder is real.
PTSD.
It's not straight up, right?
Yeah,
That's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
I'm sorry about your loss.
Man, she lived for 16 more months, though. You know what I mean? She lived for 16 more months.
I'm sorry about your loss, my brother.
She told me, she said, man, the only thing she did was pray and ask God, let her live long enough to see me get out. And he did it, bro.
How long did you do?
22-8. Yeah, I left, June the 8th, 1992. And I returned February the 18th, 2018.
Okay, so you, how old was you when you caught your body? It was about
16.
16.
I turned 17 a month after.
I remember.
Yeah, I remember you.
Bro, I remember. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
You come in, I think I might have already been there. You come in,
I was like, me and you, I had bumped into you before then. That's when I really started getting into trouble about 12, 13.
Hey, it's a juvenile detention center we talking about. We've been horrible from a while ago. Society was tough on us.
What was that called? APS, Alternative Placement Services?
I can't remember.
Berry Boulevard, the Shelter House, the Phoenix House. Those were kind of like little group homes that they would send you to. So I was going through that, AWOL-ing, getting locked up, going to JCYC. And I think that's the first time I met you. It was Corey Black. Corey Black was in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Willie Griffin.
Yeah. Man.
It was a few of us, man. It was a few of us.
Corey Black's no longer around.
Yeah. For sure.
Corey Black's deceased.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Willie Griffin, I think he just moved out of town somewhere, maybe Arizona somewhere.
Yeah, last I heard he was in Philly.
Was it Philly?
Yeah.
Philly, yeah. Who was telling me about Brian?
Probably Ramsey.
Yeah, I think that's who it was.
Might
Was
have
it
been.
Rams out Vegas?
Yeah. Rams out Vegas doing good.
Let me ask you, what made you? How did you get your case so young? What sent you the wrong direction? That's the message I want to get out there.
I'ma say for real, bro, like, man, those elements was in my household. Like my uncle he was a hustler, he was in the streets. My aunties, like some of my aunties were fast women.
Mm-hmm.
My father, I think the most structure came from my father. My father went to the military, graduated from college. He had a degree in culinary arts. He used to work at Brown and Williams. Then he switched over, worked at Philip Morris.
By all accounts.
And you know, back in those days, if you had a job at Philip Morris,
your family was papered.
He was. I'm not gonna say he was papered.
So
I'm
it
gonna
wasn't
say
a two-parent household.
yeah, it was a two-parent. My mother was off and on.
Right.
Like my mother, she would be a social worker. She worked at Whitney Young Job Corps, but she had a traumatic childhood growing up. So, you know, like I'm gonna say like Tupac, no disrespect, I love my mother to death, but she was a part-time mother. And sometimes she was a part-time mother.
Is that what caused it?
Nah, I think, like I said, the criminal element was there, but I'm gonna be 100 with you. I used to get in trouble at school, but I ain't really start hanging out until my mother and father divorced. If we just being honest.
Divorce.
Yeah. Being that I had grown up with them my whole life.
So
even
divorce is a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing. It
really
could affect the child.
Like
Yeah,
I heard, I didn't know. I never had. So
You never had
I've
it?
never had two-parent household. I don't remember. I called them foster care since we was puppies, maybe 4 of them. And then, you know, maybe a parent, aunt, uncle might have, got custody of us, but we were still separated. This is from the very beginning, so two-parent household was like a dream. So I never knew. I mean, I heard about what divorce does to families, but my family never existed to even endure, even go through that.
Wow.
So, you know what I'm saying? So when you confirm that divorce is a real thing, I acknowledge it.
I didn't even know it then. Like, I didn't even realize it then. It was years later, me being in prison.
Yeah.
And when you get to a certain point to where you start really like working on yourself,
Right.
you begin to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
I believe anybody who could sense and feel a sense of self-worth prior to going to prison, like you have confidence in yourself growing up young, you can tell that you can be somebody. Yeah. You look around at people that are successful, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, man, I could be that, or I could do that. So when you get to a point in prison, you start asking yourself, man, how did I end up in this position? With all the potential that I had and all the qualities that I had, how was this?
So you begin to ask yourself?
Yeah, I began to ask myself those tough questions, man. Started studying psychology, just reading up, trying to figure stuff out.
Right.
And then like some of the things I read, I would be like, I could see that. Like I could see that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like.
So you found some answers.
Yeah, I found some answers.
You want to share some of them?
And
I'm just saying, I'm just trying to get to the place to where we figure out like where kids go wrong, and then try to place something, put something in place that can curb it.
A preventative measure.
Yeah, I'm just but talking about like where it might start for you, and then somebody might say, well, you know what, that's kind of where I'm at. How did he overcome that? But you would have to pick a place. So we can pick a place at some point, but later in the conversation or whatever.
I think that being that I had grown up, and even though like I knew my mother and father's marriage wasn't perfect, like it was apparent, like this is not the Huxtables, but they still are together. They working through it.
And that mattered.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? But it got to the point to where it ended bad, and it wasn't a smooth kind of separation.
Yeah.
It was tumultuous.
Right.
My auntie, my mother's sister, she had her hand in it, her say in it. Man, it's like it's the whole talk of the neighborhood, bro.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, man, y'all don't got enough respect for us as a family.
Right.
Like y'all couldn't have done this a better way.
It's devastating.
Yeah, it was devastating too.
Yeah.
My mother moved to Shelby County. I went up there for like 30 days. I didn't like it. Coming from Louisville and then going up there, no malls, no skate rink, no nightclubs. No movie theaters.
I already know where you went. I know where you was at.
You understand? I'm like, nah. So I come back down to Jefferson County, but I move in with my father's mother. We call her Big Mama.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm in the hood with my cousins again now. So it's like growing up, but now, you know, my big brother, he's coming through. They got drugs, they smoking, I'm smoking. When they go to the party, they taking me with them. So now I'm just, you know, I'm out here in this lifestyle. And I'm like, damn, I kind of like this a little bit. You know, I kind of like this a little bit. It had an appeal to me.
Separation sent you a direction. Now you enveloped in a different life.
Yeah, and from there it was alternative schools. Got kicked out of Eastern High School 3 months into the freshman school year. They were saying I was just too much. You know, I mean, I'm coming out of homeroom my first day. It's 10th, 11th, 12th graders from the hood that grew up and know me. They scooping me. Like every time I come out, they scoop, going out to the parking lot. Next thing you know, I'm smoking. You know, I ain't never smoked weed like this, so I'm high as hell, bro.
Yeah.
I'm walking down the hallways and older girls is, so to me at that point, school was just like, it was fun. Like I wasn't in it for the education. I wasn't trying to read. I wasn't trying to do no homework. I'm just in it every day.
What you doing with that pain though? Were you covering that the whole time?
Yeah, the whole time. Sometimes I would act out. Like sometimes it would act out. Fights, violence, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Doing stuff like that. Engaging in violent acts.
Yeah.
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 Music was an outlet for me too.
What was you listening to back then? You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Ghetto Boys, Scarface, NWA, you know, the typical stuff. And doing music too.
Violence.
Yeah, violence.
Man, they was perpetuating violence. I know because I listened to them. The Scarface had some game in it. In the NWA, you know, they was trying to push through a system that was
they had a certain social commentary.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But they promoted violence
Absolutely.
too. Yeah, and that's what it was. Black masculinity was based on your ability to display that.
It was based on your determination to resist.
There you go.
And resisting then meant bravado.
Yeah.
So that's what it transformed into, and that's what it was.
Yeah, we were conditioned.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like we were conditioned.
We still are. Until you break free from it.
How long of a process is that?
It's a lifelong process.
I thought you was gonna say that too.
I think so because it takes a tremendously long time to unlearn what you've learned or what you've been
True
given.
story. No, true story.
You've been indoctrinated.
True story.
It takes a long time to do it, and then what you can do is get rid of enough. You can unlearn enough to learn enough to prosper or maybe get ahead, but you still got a ton of unlearning to do. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to be doing that. You should be doing inventory and unlearning for the rest of your life.
Right.
Just so you can add better stuff in.
Right.
Because you're making room for better stuff when you unlearn.
Right.
So that would be the goal of that, man. But I tell you, man, listen, we both been through a ton of things in our life, man. Like I said, we come up from juvenile detention facilities together. We never was on the yard together because I just kept missing you. And you did a ton of time down on the KSP too.
Yeah, Eddie
was down there, and I just kept missing you, but I was hearing you. I know he's down a while now. Bro's doing this, or bro's doing that. But so I've kept up with you. You know, and it was always love. You know what I mean?
I kept up with you, and you know what I always heard?
Hmm.
They said, man, this guy here, man, Jet, man, I've never seen nobody study and master Robert Greene's 48 Laws the way he did. That's all I used to hear.
They might have lied to you.
I mean, that's some humble
what they meant was I carried it around for about a year. And any time that I was going somewhere, whether it was Pilka, whether it was sick, who knows, wherever, some appointment or a canteen, whether it was time to not talk and sit, I read a little bit of it. And I gravitated towards the transgression part.
The breaking of the law.
Yeah.
Where you would go wrong at.
Yeah. You know, where people went wrong at, you know. I think you should see that first. Because most of the time you can identify with that. I
should have brought my ink pen and my pad so I could make sure I take notes.
Yeah, most of the time you can identify with that. When you look at where a person went wrong at, you can say, okay, do I have any of that in me? Do I move that way? Correct that right away.
Oh,
You
I
see what I'm
see.
saying?
Yeah, I see.
Go
what
there
you're saying.
first. Because everybody ain't got no success story of how it
Yeah,
works.
I see that.
Because what they're saying is, here's what happens when you do this, how you mess up, but if you do it this way, here's when it works. Everybody don't have occasions where it worked.
Right.
Go where it didn't work first. You say, yeah, I kind of did that. Yeah, I ain't got to. You see what I'm saying? I got more occasions, my man, where my ideas didn't work.
Okay, I feel
So
you.
I'm going there first.
No, I feel
See
you.
if I can have anything in common with that, and if I do, correct it, and then go on over to give it a go. But let me make sure that I won't mess up over where he messed up first, when there's a clear example of what not to do. So I'm going to the transgression first. I got away from this. I kind of got away from this. And I did it because I felt like it was,
Evil.
I don't want to say evil. I don't want to say evil. What I want to say is, when you put a lot of stuff in your head, right?
Right.
There's a tendency to draw those things to you. So if I'm constantly, even though I'm preparing myself, because that's the argument about this book, you prepare yourself to be able to defend yourself from this in case this comes to you. If nothing else, if you don't want to be a person who runs around and practices the 48 laws of power, then at the very least you should know them in order to be able to defend yourself from someone who may come understanding this and trying to practice it on you. I get that, but still, you're still putting a lot of deception in your head. There's more righteous things for me to read.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I would rather I don't care about defending myself from some malicious attack. What I'll do is I'll think a certain kind of way so those things won't even come to me anyway. Because my energy's going out there before I get there. And if I believe if I'm a positive individual, then I don't have to worry about those things coming to me. It's an energy thing, man. I'm just creating a different vibratory frequency today. That's low vibratory frequency stuff right there. So I move beyond it. Then I ain't knocking it. There's still plenty of room for a man to operate up under the guise of the 48 laws of power. And if it's what he wants to do, then so be it. Have all means at it. I'm just saying with me, I feel like it's based on deception.
You've evolved past that.
Absolutely. And I'll continue to evolve past it. My thing is spiritual then. And it's not necessarily we talking about organized religion. You can keep a bunch of those too. I'm saying I'm just connected with the vibratory frequencies that's going on around me these days. I'm into energy, man. So if I'm constantly reading something on how somebody's trying to deceive me, or how I can deceive someone, or how I can learn or grow, or how I can prosper off the back of someone else, then I feel like that's a low vibratory frequency I'm engaging in. I don't want that no more.
Okay, so would you say that majority of the individuals that you encounter, let's just say in your day-to-day coming and going.
And keep in mind, we trying to keep us geared towards these kids. Everything is geared toward these kids. Keep the people, but give it to me though, because I'm gonna direct it that way. Guarantee
No,
it.
because that's where I was going with it. Do you think the young kids are in a low vibratory environment more so than not, or do you think that they are in a high frequency environment where everything's vibrating at a higher pace?
I think they're coming in, like the universe is coming into a higher frequency as a whole, but the kids, to come all the way down to them, of course they are. With respect to them, they're living in an era where they think differently. They're not really concerned about the bodily functions no more. They don't care what you got or what you got right there in the middle, which separates genders. They don't care about that. So they're kind of lost in the energy field by itself. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, they're still lost in a low vibratory frequency because the only thing they think about is money and material. So there's a give and take when it comes to this new generation. It's tough. There's a healthy balance there. Nobody's getting it right, but everybody's kind of caught up in the matrix.
A little bit.
Everybody, you have to be in order to make a living. In order to make a living, to provide for your family. In order to do things that exist on this particular plane right here, you have to be in the matrix. The trick is when you come outside of your workplace or when you go back in from your life outside of your home, you have to put on, you have to make sure that you take off that mask that the world requires you to wear, right?
Yeah.
And remind yourself of why you put that mask on. You see what I'm saying? So what you do is you realign yourself with your original purpose to even go out there and get lost in that bullshit ass matrix.
Reboot.
You reboot. You realign yourself with that God principle, that spiritual thing, that connection, that light particle.
I get that.
You know, so when you lost in that, you have to be careful what goes inside your head or inside your ears, man. That stuff takes roots and plants seeds, and then you grow deception. Nah, man, go around just thinking ain't nobody coming to deceive you. Why not draw that to you? Ain't nobody great to deceive me.
Is that possible?
I do it. But I do it with the body of work behind me to where I ain't concerned about it.
I get that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It ain't easy to get to this place where I'm at.
Yeah, I get that.
I was scorched into this place of peace that I'm in now, that I'm trying to get to. I ain't peaceful yet, but that's what I'm trying to accomplish.
That's what you're pushing
I'm
for.
pushing for. That's what I can't read stuff like this and be peaceful, because it makes me too alert. Peaceful people aren't suspicious.
True story.
This book requires you to be suspicious and do an inventory of everything that you encounter, and that's okay.
So this peace,
I'm tired of it up.
Does peace like require you to like take on a certain degree of how would I say it? Naivety.
I don't think so. I think it's naive to think that a man can't author his tomorrow by feeling a certain way today. I'm drawing things to me, man. You get what you are.
You get what you are.
You get what you are. You know, you can't expect in life to think that you'll always have what you want. Even less sometimes what you need. You always get what you are, though. So
Laws of magnetism.
you get what you are.
Laws of magnetism.
So be it. Be peaceful. And then, you know, peaceful people will begin to come around you because they'll be comfortable to come around you. Vibratory frequencies draw like vibratory frequencies.
True story.
You get where you are, my brother.
True story.
Get where you are, man. So these books, although they contributed a great deal to who I am and what I'm able to speak on, and you know, and truthfully, I think that by knowing a bunch of this stuff, I was able to develop a level of desire for peace. After this, it's probably ushered me towards it a little faster. I don't want to keep learning about this. I'm trying to be peaceful. This book right here, but I got to that place faster because I delve into that. So I'm not discouraging anybody from getting into that. Listen, man, go get. And I think it's always important for people to learn the ways of people around them. And I don't think there's many better examples of that than the 48 Laws of Power. It's a hell of a study. It's a great read. I've looked at it in time again and used it as a reference book for about 6 to 7 years.
What about the laws of human nature?
You can tell me about that. I don't even think I've delved into that book, honestly.
You just told you right now. You're not even this particular genre is not even on your radar.
I haven't read it.
You haven't?
I haven't read it, but you can tell me about it. You can tell me about it. I mean, if the kids can get something from it, man, we can push it.
Oh, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yeah, no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
We should get Robert Greene to give us some compensation for this conversation, though, sure.
True
Robert Greene, compensation.
Robert Greene.
Shouts out to Robert Greene.
Shouts out to Robert Greene.
Yes. Okay, listen, man. I wanted to somehow, with people anyway, everybody that comes on here, I got a question for them. If you come to this podcast with two characteristics, right? One of them, you have to leave here because you feel like it's no good for you. And the other, you can take it with you and strengthen it because you feel like with that characteristic, you can maybe go somewhere in life. What would those two characteristics be? Damn right I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, that's a good question.
Damn right I'm putting you on the spot, my brother.
Two characteristics.
Two characteristics.
One
about yourself. Two things about yourself that you want to leave here at this table because you know it ain't worth a quarter and it won't get you nowhere. And the other, you're gonna take and strengthen it because you know with that characteristic that's always gotten you far in life, and, you know, why not go ahead and explore it more and kind of strengthen it and fortify it.
Harboring.
Which one is that? Is that the one you leaving?
That's the one I leave.
You harbor what? Feelings?
Not feelings.
Emotions?
Memories.
regrets, resentments?
No, no regrets.
People, places?
Let's say I'm interacting with this group or this individual, these individuals. Now, intuitively, in the midst of this interaction, I perceive and sense that the way that you are interacting with me is as if you're really being condescending.
Okay.
I mean, then this is not. I'm not
Sure.
saying
Right.
the person is being condescending, or you detect that this person really believes that they are on a level higher than you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that thought alone, that's gonna bother me.
Okay, does that happen often?
Nah,
Yeah.
it used to.
Yeah.
And then I realized, like, when that happens, that means that I don't need to be in that environment with those type of people.
Yeah, it means that somehow, look, man, it all comes from you. Did somebody come and pick you up and take you there? I took you to that place?
Accountability.
Yeah. It has to be you.
As well as the decision that I'm making to even go there anyway. What's drawing you to that environment in the first place?
You, man.
Yeah.
It has to be you.
Yeah.
It starts there, man. I promise you, man. And those things are on your mind. You're having conversations with these lower vibratory frequencies that kind of exist on their own. You be fucking with them.
True story.
You interested in the conversations that they have?
No, sir. No, sir.
It has to be.
No, I think sometimes I just
Are you
don't.
bored?
No, I think sometimes I just don't want to tell a person, hey, bro, I don't really see this going anywhere.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Who got time to even care? Who
Right.
got time to even care? Because everything is on their mind. Let me tell you what's going to happen in the next 7 years. Automation and robots are getting ready to take over probably 80% of the jobs in the world.
True story.
I believe so.
And illegal immigrants.
Wholehearted. Now, Trump's getting ready to take care of most of the illegal immigrants. He's going to get most of them out of the country. But listen, he's trying to get rid of them for the purpose of securing jobs for so-called Americans, right? Well, automation and robots are going to take those same jobs. Everybody's going to fall up under this jurisdiction. And then what's going to happen is people are going to say, well, hey, listen, how am I supposed to provide for my family? Well, all the robots got the jobs. I can't earn a living. I just can't get a job. I've tried. I did the best I can. The government's going to say, well, you know what? You're right. You're right. We knew this was coming. We have to give everybody universal income. So we'll give all you guys maybe this or that each month. And now that we think about it, so we won't have to send everybody checks and just put this chip in your arm. Then you'll be up under the guise of the government and up under the jurisdiction. You can do whatever they can do, whatever the hell they want to you. They can put you out of your home. They can probably stop cars at that point. It's whatever, because they're paying your bills. So people don't have long. So people don't have long before they can secure some type of something for their family, to where you can get to some place and snatch some money out of that matrix, enough to where it can sustain you and yourself and your family, and you can create a network of something to where you can exist pretty okay, at least, for the rest of the time, or the rest of your life anyway. Because I think it's going back to the times where it always used to be kings and queens, right? But the kings and queens now, I believe, is going to be big corporation. And all the money goes back to them. So anybody that ain't involved in that big shit, which I told you they have mostly robots and automation doing that shit anyway, won't be seeing no cash. So, but if you can get somewhere within the next 5 or 6 years where you got a flow of money coming to you, then I think you can be one of those families that have a little nice piece of land and somehow you grow something for the kingdom and you can still eat and do well amongst the many peasants that's up underneath it. I think it's coming to those times. That's what the matrix is to me, but it won't be. We won't go back to that. I'm just saying it exists in this modern day, but still, it'll be where it's tough for people to survive, man. It's tough.
How many people do you think are gonna say, you know what? They're gonna make sure my bills are paid every month. They're gonna make sure I got enough money. How many people do you think gonna get that chip?
Everyone. The chip won't hurt you. That's all people want to do is exist. People don't want to thrive. People just want to exist. People just want to function, to go about the daily business of, okay, so right now what you're able to do is you're able to go to work, you're able to provide for your family, maybe take a vacation or two a year. go to the movies, you go out to eat maybe once or twice a week from your job. If people can continue to do these things, they don't really care what the government does to them. If the government does it slowly,
If the government does it slow.
if they do it slowly, you rock them to sleep, and that's what's happening. People are being rocked to sleep
So
in the matrix.
how do you save a young generation that's being programmed to go into that and to be content with that right there? What's the
Keep
way?
us away from them for a little while.
Technology.
Start off with that. Let's start with that. I don't know all of the answers. I just know this right here is the matrix.
The matrix.
Just keep flipping, keep switching. Just think. You can just switch everything in your phone. Next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing. That's not interesting. That's an interesting hard that's the matrix.
Program.
Nothing is real. You can go get anything you want. And then artificial intelligence now has got it to where you looking at stuff today, you might think you're seeing a real mermaid. Nothing is real no more. Everything is just a matrix.
Artificial intelligence and an
It's the
artificial world.
matrix.
Yeah.
So, because we didn't really digress and get off subject, man. But
True
this is a
story.
real good conversation too.
You too.
But I think kids need to be involved in things that are more active. Get kids away from these neighborhoods. Get them away from them gadgets for a while. Take them and do something.
Out to the country.
Even in town, just away from that.
So where they actually participate.
Talk to me.
Yeah.
Let's look around.
Yeah.
Look at something besides your phone or what's in your immediate perception. Stretch your eyes a little bit and enjoy a good conversation in the process. I don't know, man. I just think that I think we have to get out there. We got to grab these kids. We got to show them something different. And if we do that, I think we can have some real success. If we fail to do it, then we're in real trouble. But we got some good people out there, man. I was looking at Tomcat, and I was looking at our mate. They was having conversations about helping out.
Yeah. Pool Man. D-Shot.
D-Shot.
Yeah. It's
John
a brother.
Booker. He wants to
John
do some
Booker.
things. I talked to Michi. Michi's
It's
home.
a few
man.
brothers.
Man, we can get together and we can figure it out. I can't imagine
A
with those
coalition.
people, man, with the man that we just named coming together.
A coalition.
I can't imagine us not having some success in this town and abroad if we move hard. Let's get together, guys. I got my brother here, man. It's been a wonderful conversation, man. Show me your greatness. This man is a good man. He's out there doing real good. He's always talking to people and trying to figure out how he can help. It was an easy fix for me to have him here. Show me your greatness, my brother.
Show me your greatness.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Let's see what's going on, man. How much time you got?